And question 7, Ivan McKee.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And before I start, I'd just like to associate myself with the comments just made by Anna Sarwar, the First Minister. To ask the First Minister what progress the Scottish Government is making on negotiations regarding devolved powers in the light of it being 1 year until the UK is scheduled to leave the EU.
First Minister.
I've been very clear that the Government cannot and will not recommend that the Scottish Parliament gives its consent to the EU withdrawal bill without changes being made to protect devolution. We've already set out to the UK Government the changes that could resolve this issue, but they are still insisting on the right to take control of devolved powers without the consent and regardless of the views of this Parliament. We've repeatedly said that we are ready to agree UK-wide frameworks where these will be in the interests of Scotland, but these have to be agreed and not imposed. Of course, last week, this Parliament overwhelmingly passed the Scottish Continuity Bill, which provides an alternative should an agreement not be reached with the UK Government on changes to the bill. However, we are continuing our discussions with the UK Government and we will continue to make every effort to reach a conclusion that respects the devolution settlement. But proper respect for the devolution settlement is absolutely a red line. I've said that before and I will continue to say it.
Ivan McKee.
I welcome the document published today by the Government outlining the concerns of real people on Brexit. Would the First Minister agree with me that a lot of these concerns could be met by staying in the single market, and as such it's time for the UK Government to take seriously the proposals that have been made to keep the UK in the single market and the customs union rather than continuing to put the future of Scotland's interests at risk?
First Minister.
Yes, I do agree. I want us to stay in the European Union. I couldn't be clearer about that. But if the UK is to leave the European Union, then there is absolutely no doubt whatsoever that the least worst option, if I can describe it in that way, is to remain within the single market and the customs union. All of the economic analysis shows that that is the least damaging option. And I think many of the other issues that people are worried about around freedom of movement, around the impact on different sectors, would also be allayed if we were staying within the single market and the customs union. I still hope we can find consensus that unites us around that issue. What gives me hope is that I know Ruth Davidson used to believe it, because I think the week after the referendum she challenged me in this chamber to protect our membership of the single market. So if she can find it within ourselves to stand up and be counted on that again, I would certainly welcome that. And I know that there are voices within the Scottish Labour Party who just today are saying to Richard Leonard, stop supporting a Tory hard Brexit. That I think the wording is, will he rise to the challenge? And I think some of his own colleagues have said that future generations will not forgive those who stand idly by and watch the Tories do real economic damage to our country. So I hope Ruth Davidson rediscovers her former convictions, and I hope the voices in Scottish Labour calling for membership of the single market manage to turn Richard Leonard away from being a hard Brexiteer and into a more sensible position. And if that happens, this Parliament can be united, and then perhaps we can have greater influence on the direction of travel in the UK. So my challenge goes out to those across this chamber to unite behind what is right for Scotland.